Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning and good afternoon, everyone. Let me introduce myself. My name is Muhammad Fatur Rahman. I am one of the member of this research, and let me present the PowerPoint of our article entitled Analysis of DKI Jakarta Government Policy related to the sport development of sustainable achievement, or POPB, under 15 of DKI Jakarta in 2020. Okay, the introduction. Athlete development is one of the key to the success of increasing sport achievement. In Indonesia, especially DKI Jakarta, a new pattern has been implemented as a result of systematic study and analysis of various long-term coaching patterns, which later took the form of the Sustainable Achievement Sport Development Program, or POPB. Specific and well-planned training, competition, and recovery will ensure optimal development throughout the athlete's career. Ultimately, sustainable success comes from training and good performance over the long term, which is better than thinking only about short-term wins. There are no shortcuts to success in athletic preparations. Competition that places too much emphasis on the early stage of training will always lead to deficiencies in athletic ability later in athlete career. By 2003. Long-term coaching with the LTAD concept adopted by the DKI Jakarta under the name POPB cannot be just a system on paper alone, but more than that. The system must be built as well as possible because there is a relationship at the athlete's performance stage at higher level. Because of POPB is a program under level government, its existence is also very depend on the local government budget. Apart from the budget, other policies in its implementation are also under the regional government. Thus, any policies made by the government regarding sport, especially athlete development, will greatly affect at sustainability of POPB or LTAD in DKI Jakarta version. POPB will facilitate training with more precise training characteristics. The position of POPB will the existence of policies related to POPB quota in 2020, of course, will greatly affect the implementation of all managerial process and POPB training. However, there needs to be a more in-depth analysis related to the policies that have been made, whether they have a positive, negative, or other impact on sustainability of POPB. There needs to be accurate data coming from at least two groups, namely policymakers and POPB implementers. By conducting a simple narrative analysis on each actor who has been appointed according to the certain criteria, it is hoped that it will be able to draw a common thread between POPB and DKI Jakarta sports coaching policies makers. This research is a research on program that has only lasted 1 year, and the policies analyzed are also new policies for the 2020 budget. Because of the policies in 2020 related to the POPB is decreased than years before. Because of that, we will try to analyze what the impact of the policies has made by DKI Jakarta government on the implementation in POPB. This study uses a mixed method, qualitative and quantitative research approach. The population in this study are all parties related to the 2020 JAKARTA POPB policies, including among others policies makers. On this side is DKI Jakarta government, or we call it in Indonesia Diaspora DKI. Policies implementers on this side is POPB management or LTAD management in DKI. Policies targets that athlete and parents, also parents. While the research sample was taken randomly with a specific purposive random sampling that from parties related to the following provisions. First, policy makers are technical officers in the field of POPB guidance. Second, policies implementers, POPB management at the level of daily administrators or POPB coordinators or people in charge. Third, policies objective, including athletes who receive the 2020 POPB decree. The data collection methods chosen were literature review. This is for make some instruments to get the data. Interviews and questionnaires. Literature review is carried out by collecting various theories to formulate the frame of mind so that policy analysis can be well described. Interviews with closed and open interview guides are used to see the impact of policies taken in more depth to find out the real conditions encountered in the field. Meanwhile, the questionnaire is used to describe the implementation of the policies has been taken. The questionnaire is arranged based on the grid that is raised from the variable of motivation level of athlete to participate in POPB using a Likert scale. Then the variables to be measured are related into variable indicators. Then the indicators is used as a starting point of arranging instrument items, which can be in the form of statements of questions. The data collection process was carried out in sequence, completing a theoretical framework related to POPB 2020 policies, then compiling interview guidelines and questionnaires. Interviews were conducted by direct researchers with a focus on policy effectiveness and efficiency, while questionnaires were used as tools to obtain secondary data. So this is the result of our research. This study aims to analyze the sustainable performance sports coaching policies that have been implemented in 30 years in DKI Jakarta. It's just that the policies analyzed in the study POPB policies that were established in 2019, because of the decrease of funding in POPB are at 2019. Based on change in various conditions in the field, it be social environment, economic change, and related policies, it will affect the legitimacy of programs. It is important to examine the ebb and flow of legitimacy to find and criticize the boundaries of policies content. The historical elaborate examination of legitimacy illuminates the terms of reference that define policy objective and methods. Legitimacy provides the rationale of policies and the limits what policies are trying to achieve, and more importantly, what policies do not wish to achieve. There are two stages of legitimacy analysis. First, identification of legitimacy itself, and third, evaluation of legitimacy. The policy of Governor of DKI Jakarta, as stated in Governor Decree number 15 and 91 of 2018, Concerning the unit cost of sports youth activities and sport and youth achievement award that at the Youth and Sport Service of DKI Jakarta Province was later revealed by the head of Youth and Sport Service as that in the first degree of the head of Provincial Youth and Sports Office of the Special Capital Region of Jakarta number 216 and 2019 concerning the appointment of POPB experts. Second degree of the head of the Jakarta Provincial Youth and Sport Agency number 20 of 2020 and 20 concerning an appointment of POPB athletes. Third degree of the head of the Provincial Youth and Sports Office of the Special Capital Region of Jakarta number 245 of 2019 concerning the appointment of POPB trainers. And the fourth degree of the head of the Provincial Youth and Sports Office of the Special Capital Region of Jakarta number 73 of 2019 concerning the appointment of POPB strength and conditioning trainers has been managed. The most significant implication of these policies is the quota of POPB athletes. Initially in 2019, there were 1,000 athletes to only 324 athletes in 2020. The policy set by the DKI Jakarta Governor and the DKI Jakarta Diaspora not only affect the athletes quota, but also change the long-term strategy of POPB to an extremely. The selection of talented athlete and promotion of sport is very limited, with steps that need to be carefully identified. And the conclusion of the result of the policy evaluation are based on four scopes. First, funding. Second, governance. Third, implementation of training and career development. In the process of tracing and collecting information on the first scope of coaching, it was found that there was no legal sustainable achievements for guidance guideline in the sport. The long-term strategic plan, which is a key document in guidance, needs to be legalized and legal document so that it becomes an outline for the implementation of a more focused coaching. Sport players have a positive view of exercise existing policies. This is shown by the absence of signs of rejection regarding POPB, but instead it is carried out more selective and regarding POPB, but and act accurately with all the existing limitations. Furthermore, the word sustainable in the abbreviation POPB need to be formulated more thoroughly to the level of the athlete careers as a profession in the future. Thank you. That all can I present. Thank you very much.